We're sure that you're also one of those people who have received legendary Nigerian prince emails. Emails where scammers pretended to be princes from Nigeria looking for some assistance, promising a fortune if you just send them a little bit of money up front to verify your account. Classic stuff. Americans have lost around $7 million in this Nigerian prince scam. They even made a movie in 2018 titled Nigerian Prince, in which a Nigerian-American teenager connects with his cousin Pius in Nigeria, who runs 419 scams for a living. Yes, these scams are that famous.
Is sending $15 million to an overseas scammer. But federal prosecutors say the scam was much larger and more lucrative than that.
A song, I Go Chop Your Dollar, was adopted as an anthem for 419 scammers using the phrases, 419 is just a game, I am the winner, you are the loser. But they're not always all fun and games. Some 419 scams involve even more serious crimes, such as kidnapping or murder. One such case happened in 2008, when a Japanese businessman, Osamai Hitomi, was kidnapped in South Africa and his kidnapper demanded a $5 million ransom from his family. And one 419 scam that ended in murder occurred in 2003 when 72-year-old Jiri Pasovsky shot and killed 50-year-old Michael Lakara Wyatt, an official at the Nigerian embassy in Prague, and injured another person after the Nigerian consul general explained he could not return the $600,000 that Pasovsky had lost to a Nigerian scammer. But get this, the scam we're talking about today takes the cake. It happened way back in 1995 before the internet became popular, so this one didn't become a giant meme like the Nigerian prince emails. Believe it or not, there were smooth talkers out there fleecing people way before the internet. Forget phishing emails or fake social media profiles, Nwude decided to impersonate a high-ranking official at Nigeria's central bank to fleece a Brazilian bank out of a mountain of cash. Our story begins in 1995 when Emmanuel Nwude, a Nigerian businessman with an ambition for a luxurious life, decided he wanted to get rich quickly. But instead of the small-time hustles, Nwude concocted a plan so audacious it would baffle even the most seasoned internet fraudsters today. A plan that would either make him a millionaire or land him in serious trouble. This was one of the biggest bank scams ever, right after Nick Lesson's trading losses at Barings Bank and the time Saddam Hussein's son Qusay Hussein looted Iraq's central bank. Nwude set his sights on a much bigger target, a Brazilian bank. He meticulously crafted a plan to impersonate a high-ranking official, Paul Ogwuman, at Nigeria's central bank. With this fake identity in hand, he contacted a director at Brazil's Banco Nordeste named Nelson Sakaguchi. He weaved a tale about a golden investment opportunity, a brand new state-of-the-art airport project in Nigeria's capital, Abuja. The crazy part is that Emmanuel pulled it off, at least for a while. Back then, the internet wasn't readily available to double-check the information. So, lured by the promise of big profits and a hefty commission for himself, Nelson fell for Nwude's elaborate scheme. Blinded by the potential riches, he didn't even consider verifying such a project. He relied on Emmanuel's smooth talk and fabricated documents. Emmanuel played the part so perfectly that he even threw in a hefty commission for Nelson to sweeten the deal. And that is how Nelson agreed to invest a staggering sum of $242 million. Over 3 years, Nelson kept sending money, convinced he was part of a major infrastructure project that would boost his career. But guess what? There never was an airport. The whole thing was a house of cards built on Emmanuel's lies. The whole scheme unraveled when, in August 1997, the Spanish Banco Santander wanted to take over the Banco Nordeste Brazil. During the due diligence process in December 1997, a joint board meeting between Banco Nordeste and Santander took a strange turn. An official from Santander spotted a massive chunk of the Brazilian bank's money hidden in an account in the Cayman Islands. It was, indeed, all that missing money Nelson had been sending to Emmanuel. This giant hole in Banco Noreste's finances sparked major alarm bells. The authorities in Brazil, Britain, Nigeria, Switzerland, and even the US joined forces to investigate this international crime. Eventually, to keep the sale to Santander on track, the owners of Banco Noreste, the Simonson and Cochran families, had to pay up a whopping $242 million themselves to cover the missing money. As for Nelson Sakaguchi, he got arrested at JFK Airport in New York and then was shipped to Switzerland to face trial for setting up bank accounts there as part of the whole scam. Nelson confessed he'd been scammed. It took a long time, but eventually, with the help of international cooperation, they tracked Emmanuel down in Nigeria. Fresh off his re-election in 2002, Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo cracked down on financial crimes. He created a new Economic and Financial Crimes Commission specifically to target these kinds of scams. In 2004, the EFCC finally caught up with Nwude and his crew, which included Emmanuel Ofalu, Zuribe Okoli, Obo Masakwe, along with the husband and wife duo Ikechukwu Anajemba and Amaka Anajemba. Christian Anajemba was assassinated way before the trial. They were all arrested and charged in the Abuja High Court with 86 counts of advanced fee fraud and 15 counts of bribery related to the case. They all pleaded not guilty, of course, and even promised the judge they wouldn't try to bribe anyone involved in the case. Things got even crazier when in July 2004, Judge Lawal Gumi threw the case out on a technicality because the crime didn't technically happen in his jurisdiction, Abuja, and the Lagos High Court was the correct place to try this case. So the EFCC rearrested everyone as they walked out of court, and the case was moved to Lagos. The trial was wild. In 2005, Nwude tried to bribe the head of the EFCC, Nuhu Ribadu, with $75,000 in cash, but sadly for him, he was charged in connection with the attempted bribery in addition to the attempted kidnapping of a prosecution witness. And there was even a bomb scare that shut down the courthouse. Finally, in 2005, things started to settle. One of Nwude's accomplices, Amaka Anajemba, admitted her guilt and got 2.5 years in prison and was ordered to repay $25.5 million. After Sakaguchi himself flew in to testify, Nwude and Okoli decided to plead guilty in hopes of getting a lighter sentence. They ended up getting a combined 29 years in prison, 4 for Okoli and 25 for Nwude. All of Nwude's assets were confiscated to be returned to the victim, and another $10 million fine was imposed to be paid to the Nigerian federal government. Nwude got out of prison in 2006 and then tried to sue the government to get all his seized money back, claiming he had earned some of it before the scam. And the funny thing is, he actually managed to get back over $50 million. As of 2015, the case was still being heard in the Lagos Court of Appeal. Just when you thought Nwude's story was over, things took another turn in 2016. A land dispute between two towns got violent, 4 policemen were shot, and Emmanuel Okafor, a security guard at a construction site, was killed. The police accused Nwude of being a ringleader. They slapped him with 27 serious charges, including murder, attempted, and terrorism. He spent some time in jail but got released on bail later that year. Fast forward to 2021, and Nwude was back in court again as he claimed that he had no idea where the $242 million from the scam came from. He and his 2 lawyers, Emmanuel Lekechukwu and Roland Kalu, were accused of forging documents related to a property the judge had ordered him to forfeit to his victims. Nwude's story is a true example of how, if something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And karma always catches up with you, even for the most cunning scammers. Even with a last-ditch attempt to clear his name, the Owele of Abagana remains a truly audacious chapter in the long history of financial cons. One thing to keep in mind is that the Nigerian prince emails aren't a thing of the past. Scammers are now using AI to make their cons even more convincing. They're using it to create polished and believable emails that sound real enough to fool even the most cautious person. Even if you're curious, do not reply to such emails, as replying just tells the scammer your email address is active, and don't share too much personal information on social media. Scammers can use that info against you. The Nigerian prince scam is back with a vengeance, so be smart and aware to keep your money safe. If you like this video, make sure to hit like, share, and subscribe. Let us know in the comments if you've ever received one of those 419 emails.